But what changed to make that change? Like what changed to make you be like, yo, I'm gonna stay and figure this thing out? Because that's really big. Nobody talks about that.
Well, what changed for me is I realized that my way of arguing and your way of arguing was completely different. And I realized that every time I left, it would literally break you because you felt like it was the end of a relationship. And I realized, like, okay, if all I have to do is sit there for him to feel comfortable that it is not completely over, and just, I could say, for me, I'm like, I could say whatever I want to say in my head and not just say it out loud and allow him to speak his piece and just sit there and deal with it and then speak my piece without cursing. It can happen and it is doable. So I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to do it, but it was a different way for me because all my life, when I was mad, I was like, F you, you blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I would say what I had to say, break a person down, get over it. They would talk to me the same way and we'd get over it and we'd be cool. But with Ron, because I wasn't able to say certain things and I wasn't able to use my freedom of speech freely.
Yeah. But this is also...
I had to change that.
And this is also the continuation of us talking about the importance of culture. Like, culture and getting married is so important because we don't argue about religion. We don't argue about...
No.
The stuff that people argue about, we don't argue. What we argue about is consideration and like...
Did somebody say finish him?
Yeah.
Metasavia?
Metasavia? We talk about like tone. Like your tone. Like, let me tell you something. I believe women, because they're feminine and like because they're so clear, you have a direct connection to God. But if you have a direct connection to God and you're our filter in life as a man and your tone is wrong, we gonna miss whatever message God's trying to tell us. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, like when I first met my wife, it was so uncomfortable because she would tell me about myself that made me feel so like naked and like unworthy and unlike I wasn't equipped to be the man I thought I was. And it wasn't from a lack. It was just like women see stuff that men don't see. They see our blind spots. And she would tell me stuff. But if her tone was wrong, I would completely miss the message because I'm like, yo, you can't talk to me like that. Even if it's true, because it didn't feel good. But then I realized, like, yo, she's not trying to hurt me. Let me lean into what she's doing. Because every time she talked to me, she would literally force me to become a grown man. Like, every time she talked to me, because all my little tricks, I had like a little bag of tricks. I had the charm thing in my tool belt. I had the funny thing in my tool belt. I had the let me make you laugh to make you forget about why you really mad at me thing in my tool belt. But none of that stuff worked because she was already funny. She was already charming. And she was freaking hilarious. And so I had to like show up and be a grown man and have hard conversations. We do it now. When we have conversations, sometimes I just be there quiet, looking stupid. And she be hitting me with facts and figures and PowerPoint presentation. I'm like, I don't know how to answer this. All I know is you said something that was reckless. But then when I say how I feel, she'd be like, well, I only did that because you did this. I'm like, why didn't you tell me when it happened? Like, why didn't you mention that when I said it? And she'd be like, well, I didn't think it was an important thing, but now since you bringing this up and you want to have this conversation, we hold in court. And now we having a conversation about the thing that bothered me, but it started because she said something to me and I didn't give her what she needed.
We legit go to court.
That's how
Ron always tells me, he's like, I don't know what you're doing in the medical field. You should have been a lawyer. Because when I come to court, I come prepared. I have my suitcase.
It'd be wrong.
My suit on.
It'd be wrong. Because I just care about tone. Like, let me get my point out. And your tone is right, and you say you heard me, I'm cool. But she'd be like...
By the way, my tone has gotten so much better.
Oh, yeah.
I still get my point across in a very professional way. I'm like, are you done?
And let me add this too. This is another thing that I found out about myself after getting married. So my wife is the oldest of 3? 4. My wife is the oldest of 4. So she grew up in a household where when you have siblings, your only job is to prove your sibling wrong. Your job is to take care of your siblings if you're the oldest and prove them wrong. My wife be doing that in my marriage and it drives me nuts. I grew up in a household, it was just me and my sister. So it wasn't the issue of you're wrong. It's like we was just trying to be heard. Me and her was just trying to be heard. But her, she would go in and be like, you're wrong. So even after the argument is done, I told her, I said, sometimes I shut down when she'd be like, you're wrong. Yeah, you fix your face. Fix it. She'd be like, you're wrong. This is why you're wrong. I'm going to remind you you're wrong. And I need you to say that you're wrong. I need you to say that you did this wrong. And I'm like, yo, why we doing all this? And she's like, no. If you going to say this, we going to say, and I'm like, and we'll keep going. I'm like, what are you trying to prove, young lady? But that's how she worked. Because again, she grew up with like 19 siblings and that's how they are.
How'd you go from 4 to 19?
Okay, she got 4 siblings and they like constantly live in the same house trying to prove each other wrong.
I got 5 siblings now.
And this is funny, I didn't realize that when she'd be talking to her siblings, they'd be like, you wrong. And she'd be like going in, you're wrong. And they would
Facts. They be facts upon facts upon facts.
Yeah, she got receipts for her siblings, and I'm like, ooh, she do me the same way. Ooh, this what they do. Ooh, they.
Oh, Ron gets the popcorn when it ain't him. He's like,
Let me tell you something. When it ain't pointed at me, I'm getting a whole bag of popcorn, sitting in the bleachers, enjoying the show.
yeah, he is.
But when it's directed toward me, all her 47 siblings, let me tell you something.
What?
And then I said 47, and you let me slide. But yeah, man, that's something I had to learn, man. But see, that's one of the tough things about.
And I'm bringing receipts.
Man, she do that. But
Girls
again,
know.
people that have big families, that's what they do, man. They try to prove each other wrong, and it's a thing. For me, I'm like, I just want to be heard. She like, no, you need to know you wrong, and I need to show you these receipts, and I need you to announce. I'm going
to hear you.
The same energy you can.
I hear that you are wrong, and I'm going to tell you are wrong.
The same energy you accuse me of being wrong, I need that same energy when you announce that you wrong. That's what she like.
I do admit that I'm wrong now. I never learned that.
She does it more now. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna.
I'm like, you're right. I'm wrong. I admit it.
Yeah, but she said so. You can't hear. She be like,
oh, shut up, nigga. Bye. Stop lying.
I was like, say what? She be like, I said I'm wrong.
No, I admit when I'm wrong.
Let me finish, babe. I was like, baby, say again. She be like, I said I'm wrong. Huh? I said I'm wrong. I can't hear what you're saying. I said I'm wrong. Like, I said I'm wrong.
He is lying.
For real. She be whispering. You can't really hear it.
Are you done?
But listen, when I'm wrong,
we can go to the next question.
She want me to get a PA system and be like,
baloney. This is false. You are a lie. Give me my credit.
I love you,
worked hard on myself.